Hello and welcome to episode 8 of our War of the Visions Unloved series with me, Raindell. And today we're taking a look at one of my favorite units, or I would even say my favorite unit, and that is Rosa. She's really unloved because basically nobody has her, except maybe for a couple diehard fans and those that got her by mistake while trying to go for Kain. And I almost never see her used, but she's actually really good. So we'll explore that. Let's dive into her stats quickly here. And what I want to show in her stats is that she has 270 attack and 321 magic. So while she leans a little bit more towards the magic side, she actually has a pretty decent amount of attack. And that's really nice because she has both physical and magical scaling in her kit. She can really be built any way. She's got a little bit of spirit built in, and then a pretty nice agility as well. So she's very interesting. And then she's resistant to charm and disable, which are really mean status effects. So she has good resistances there. Now, when physical attacks come in, she's really squishy, but she's rather resistant to magical attacks with her magic resistance. So she's not a tank by any means. If there's one thing she can't do, it's take hits. Everything else in the game, basically, she does. And that's thanks to her unique job. But first, let's take a look at her support abilities, because a couple of those are really important. The first one is Deep Love. It increases her range, but mainly it gives her 20 human killer. That's almost as much as Udden. And in any kind of PvP content where you only fight humans, it's really strong because it just increases your damage no matter the damage type you're doing. And then I also use Blessing of Ice basically all the time, because when we'll be taking a look at Ice Crystal Arrow, it's actually her hardest hitting skill unless you're building entirely towards magic. And this also increases her agility, which means that she can kind of keep up with the fast characters in the game. In terms of counter ability, I'm sure you all hate Reflex. I know I do. And Dodge is just that. It's Reflex under another name. So there's no real reason to equip something else. Her Limit Burst is interesting. It restores HP quite a bit to everybody around her, and then gives back 20 AP to everyone but her. The drawback though is it costs her a lot of AP to use, so overall you're making her unable to use attacks in following turns in order to give other guys HP back, and then the ability to use possibly abilities. It's mainly useful as a clutch heal because it's instantaneous, while her other heals are spells, so they are delayed. Now, let's take a look at her main job, because I would say that's the main thing that makes her unique. So, she is a mix of an archer, a white mage, and a black mage. And the main reason why it's so strong is because she starts with as much AP as a mage. She begins with a ton of AP. So when you're running Rosa, whether you're running her as an archer, as a damage dealer, no matter what you do, you never need bells. She begins with her entire AP pool. And that's really important. So she's got access to healing. She's got access to Pure Prayer, which nullifies a bunch of status effects. That's pretty useful against Agrias and other characters. It does not, however, nullify Disable, so that's one important status effect that's not included in there. Then she has 2 guaranteed hit attacks in her main kit, Holy and Surefire Shots. So one that's magic, light, and then one that's physical, missile, and ice damage. So it's also nice because one of those is instantaneous. If you need to land the hit instantly, you can use Surefire Shot, and then if you can afford a delay, you can cast Holy and then have it proc after a while. And then the last ability in there is Ice Crystal Arrow, and that's a single target attack with a really high modifier, which also decreases ice resistance before the damage is applied. So while they say 200% modifier if you're using the right support ability, you actually reduce their resistance by 38%, then hit with a 200% modifier attack. I've seen her hit caps of damage that even Frederica can hit. She hits really, really hard with that. Her White Mage of Baron sub-job though, the only thing you really get from that is the ability to do a AoE with your missile attacks. If she doesn't have that equipped, she doesn't have any AoE, basically, in her main kit. And I don't want to go into her sub-jobs too much. She has White Mage, which heals, protects, shell, all the moves that you know. And then she has Kuraga, which it means that she has a lot of healing in there, but she does not have full life. So she's a decent healer, but you don't really need the White Mage for anything other than AoE healing. If you only want single target healing, you're fine with Prey from her main job. And then she has the Black Mage sub-job, which provides her with a bunch of magic attacks, the ones that you know, Bio, Drain, Osmose, Blizzard, and then her unique move would be Blizzaga, which is an AoE magic attack. So she can be built towards physical missile damage, she can be built with a lot of magic to use your healing spells with more efficiency, and then magic attacks. She can do a little bit of everything, or you can just tailor her towards one side in order to maximize her efficiency. So today, we'll be taking a look at Rosa as a missile attacker, and then Rosa as a mage. And you'll see that she fits really well in both roles. Alright, so here's the first team comp we're using, and it's a typical full ranged team. The first unit, Rosa, we're running her with only 687 attack, and while that may seem low, you'll see that with her Deep Love buff and Odin, she ends up doing a ton of damage, much more than the stats would suggest. I'll quickly show you her resistances, and as you can tell, if she gets hit, she's just going to go down. We're using the White Mage of Baron, and we've turned off Pure Prayer. And the reason for that is her AI will cast buffs over attacking, and it will also cast heals over attacking. So if you have too many buffs available, she'll just keep using those and never actually do anything else. Here, what she'll do first is use Lucia's TMR, and then since she doesn't have any other buff in her kit, she'll either attack or heal in subsequent turns, which is what we want her to do. Then we're running Frederica, and Frederica will get quickened by Nivlu and move to the front, so we're running her with Golem and a little bit of defense so she can take a hit, because in our team, if she survives, she'll have the chance to be healed back by Rosa, and then potentially take another hit, and so on. And we have turned off every delayed ability from Frederica because we want to do our damage instantaneously. So these are the stats that we're running here. And then finally, Nivlu is there as our Time Mage, as I usually use her. She has quite a bit of damage, and she is our only unit with a lot of defense penetration. So while Rosa can use magic attacks if we fight tanks, Nivlu is able to hit them through their defense, and she can also screw up their hate and their barrier. So she's an extremely good support for ranged attacking teams. She's also set up to cast Quicken on Frederica very early in the fight. So that's what the team comp looks like. Let's take it to battle. Alright, so the first team we're fighting is a really strong magic offense team. They're supported with 2 master abilities that makes them tankier, and then Kilphe is really good at tanking attacks from Frederica and Nivlu, but I'm curious to pit our team against them. I'm looking at it and I'm scared of what they might do, but then again, it's fun to just challenge teams that might be difficult to fight. And with all Earth units on their side, it's really up to Rosa to make it up, because our other ranged characters won't do as much damage as they usually do. So the first thing that happens, Rosa is pretty fast. As you can tell, she's going before Frederica. Now, sure, she's using Odin while Frederica is using Golem, so that makes Frederica slower, but still, it's impressive when she can compete in terms of speed with this type of character. Now, it seems like Nivlu's actually prioritizing Rosa for her Quicken, which I don't mind too much because we're in line, and now Rosa will be in range to attack. So as soon as one of our enemies come in range, we hit. We actually miss on Vinera, and that's surprising because she's not using any type of evasion gear, so we were just pretty unlucky there. Now, a second Ice Crystal Arrow takes her out in one hit. She's 89, but still, she's a character that's not innately squishy. So that's a very impressive amount of damage in my book from Rosa here. Now, she uses Hail Shower and deals 3000 damage to Kilphe and almost takes out Halloween Rairyuu in one hit as well. And that was not her highest damage attack, that was actually her weaker AoE attack. So it's pretty impressive here, the amount of damage she's done. Now, again, if a character is low on HP, she'll prioritize healing, so you have to take that into account. But that fight went really well. The enemy didn't really have a chance to reach us, and we're just keep attacking them while they try to reach. So let's find another matchup. Okay, so this time we're fighting Ildyra, Sakura, and Winter Vinera. And their team has a lot of long-range damage, so what we're afraid of is if they hit us too hard early on, Rosa will just begin healing, and she'll never actually get to attacking. And in our current build, her healing is subpar because we're building her for attack. So she doesn't heal that much. We would really rather have her attack. And I could turn off Prey to just have her focus on attack, and I might do that if it becomes an issue. But I like having the option of healing back up, because when the enemy team splits and they have one person coming in really quickly while the other guys stay in the back, it's actually a boon to be able to heal back up while the other guys catch up. So Rosa moves forward a little bit. They have the zombie transformation, which is always bad. It's such a strong TMR. I don't like when our enemies have it. Now, Frederica's ready to move forward, and we begin hitting them. As always, pretty good damage from Frederica, that's why she's here. And now Rosa uses Ice Crystal Arrow to one-shot Ildyra. She's not a lightning unit, right? We're used to seeing Frederica one-shot Ildyra, but that's with the element advantage. Now, she just did that by herself, so that's pretty impressive. Then Rosa takes another turn and just does the same thing. So, one enemy threat down. Now, we're very lucky that Frederica dodges that, and our team's not necessarily designed to win against them. So yeah, Rosa just goes down in one hit. That's very unfortunate, but we did get to see her do her damage, which is mainly what I wanted to showcase here. Now, our team's still able to take them out because they're pretty fast, so it's a win in the end. And I would say that's thanks to Rosa being able to one-punch the enemy Ildyra twice in a row. Thanks to the fact that she doesn't need bells. Again, she has the ability to spam her skills from the get-go. Alright, so now we've changed things around a little bit, and we are bringing in a Mage squad, still featuring Rosa. She still has a decent attack, 500, not a lot less than we had, but our vision cards don't support missile damage that much. Now we really support the magic score, so she will heal a lot now, and she'll also do very strong magic damage, probably from Blizzaga if we're able to cast it on the enemy team. So that's mainly what we changed. We have her bow, which provides increased magic attack, and then Soul of the Massa for more magic, and Halloween Little Lila's TMR for even more magic while its ability is activated. So that's what our plan looks like. She'll begin by casting that, then Miranda will quicken somebody as our Time Mage / magic attacker, and we're using Miranda in the last slot because she has a jump too, which means that she's able to cross the barrier in the middle of the map. And then our final character is Kilphe, who's there to keep the aggro and make sure that Rosa doesn't die. We're running her as Spellblade so she can have hate, and also because we don't need her to heal, because Rosa can take care of that for us. So let's look at her stats here. We have a lot of slash resistance on our team, so we'll try to find an enemy that uses slash attacks. Okay, so we're looking at a very strong enemy team with Duane, Kain, and Gilgamesh. And we're using the drawback of using Mage, Rosa, or mages in general, is you have casting times. And against an enemy team that hits that hard, it can put us at a major disadvantage because it doesn't mean that our spells will actually go off before they one-shot us. And Rosa being very squishy, if she does get hit, she'll die. There's no questioning that. So we'll see if we're able to withstand their assault and then use our very powerful magic attacks to take them out. I like seeing an enemy Kain begin by not using his courage. That means we might have a shot at outright killing him if he's unless he's in range to use. Yeah, okay, so he wasn't in range to attack us on his second turn, so he actually did cast that. And now Kilphe begins tanking, and that's pretty good for us because I want her to just take attacks for our team. Now we have an unfortunate thing. Quicken while your unit is casting will actually make it so that your spell doesn't resolve and you have to cast it again. It's kind of weird, but that's the way it works. So we lost the Quicken benefit, but wow, 4,000 damage on Kain, 3,700 on Duane in a single spell. That's very strong. I'm not sure exactly how much damage Medina would have done there if it wasn't for her limit break, but I would say it's comparable. And then, immediately afterwards, she heals herself for 3,600, which is a ton. So, can Rosa do a lot of magic damage and a lot of healing in this build? Yeah. And then she also has reflex, because that's not broken at all. So, it's pretty strong. But then again, when you're getting hit, she goes back to healing duty, so you won't see her do that much damage. But that was still overall a pretty good show of how much magic damage she can throw out when she gets the chance to do that. Alright, so you've seen Rosa as an archer, you've seen her as a mage, and she actually performs really well in both roles. Now, you could also run her, and I often do it, as a hybrid, where she uses her own bow, but then in a missile team, and she is still able to heal a lot while hitting decently hard. In that kind of build, she doesn't one-punch enemies, but she has more utility, so it depends what you want. One thing I want to point out is if you're a fan of manual play, Rosa is even stronger in that game mode because you can leverage all the tools she has much better than the AI does. And so in an ice team, you can use the Ice Imperil to increase your entire team. Against status effects, you can use Pure Prayer to prevent those from coming into your team for 3 turns. If you run her with the White Mage subjob, you have access to Protect and Shell that you can use while the enemy team is closing in on yours. And then you can hit enemies with high defense with your magic attacks, enemies with high spirit with your physical attacks, and kind of juggle around all that. So she's really, really strong in manual play. So I'll stop renting. As you can probably tell, I really like the unit. And if you have her and just haven't built her, I recommend you do so. She's really, really fun. She's great at what she does, but she does almost everything. So that means that she's great at almost everything. I'll stop there. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed your time here, please like and subscribe. It will make it more likely that that kind of content appears in your feed in the future. And then have a great rest of your day.